Welcome back to Networthy Podcast, where we provide coverage on everything NBA. I'm your co-host El Jefe, and I'm joined here by my fellow members of the SFN crew. How's everybody doing tonight?
My name is Calm, bruv. Lake Show. Lake Show.
Well, it's another year, another season opener, and I'm looking forward to
The pass.
fourth, fifth seed from the New York Knicks. We're here representing.
Bing bong.
Oh, Kevin Durant versus.
Oh. A little off the glass, a little kisser.
Austin Reeves. Yeah, he's getting to it.
Kisser to start the game. Ooh, freaky.
Okay, got a little action early in that Lakers and Suns game.
I'm mad he has the Zac Efron haircut. It's kind of nasty work. He's got to get
talking
that
about
together.
Reeves?
Yeah, he's got to get that together. This is not
Hey, Reeves is out here doing Reeves things.
What was that High School Musical?
That's the Justin Bieber. Oh, that's the Justin Bieber 2012 Christmas edition.
Is that Justin Bieber when he was singing
One Less
Just
Lonely Girl?
Yeah, exactly.
That was one
less Bieber. That was a crazy. No, have you heard the One Less Lonely?
The One Less Lonely Girl was different.
Yeah, we had the black people had to really check on that guy to see what was going on. But go ahead, Hefe, do your thing. I'm sorry.
No, it's all
Cheers,
good,
LeBron.
man.
Red
wine. Cheers to LeBron. But cheers to another man who just signed a new recent contract. Giannis just signed a 3-year deal with a nice little player option out there in Milwaukee. So he'll be staying put for a little bit. We'll see if they can keep Dame too there. We'll see what happens with them. How y'all feel about this recent signing?
I mean, it was necessary for them. If not, you would have had to give them more money. I mean, I feel like they were able to lessen the contract for what he realistically would have wanted if he would have became a free agent. So honestly, it was a win-win for everyone. He also has that player op, so that way if things do go to the deep end, he has that option to make a move. That was a good shot. Grayson Allen. But yeah.
Giannis deserves the money, clearly. There's no real argument about that. He's arguably the best player in the NBA, if not. I mean, personally, I think he's the best player in the NBA, and he's just gotten, a key addition to his team. So yeah, I think we're going to see Giannis explode, even though Dame's went for 39 tonight. So I think Giannis returns to MVP form this season, especially after the payday. He's one of those guys that wants to hoop. He really just wants to hoop. So kudos, man. Congratulations, Giannis. And congratulations, city of Milwaukee. You won't be irrelevant for a while.
Yeah, they definitely have a couple of years left on them, especially with that contract signing. So he'll be put. That's good for him. And good luck to them. But I'm still sticking with Miami. Miami's got that killer in them.
We don't care. We don't care about Miami.
That's fine. You don't have to. You don't have to not care. But what I will tell you is Miami's got their number, and we've seen it every year. We've seen it every time. We got their number.
Please tell him that something is different this year.
I would love to. I'm sorry. I gotta stay focused. I'm getting sidetracked. LeBron's missing layups, just not boxing out. I'm losing my mind.
He's in his 21st year. What he
besides the point, the boxing out is a thing. It's just principle. Like,
bro, we can't. Stay focused. It's year 21. How much more can you ask of that, man?
Let's stay
focused. As a Jordan fan, I understand that. It's let that man take a couple plays off.
I wasn't referring to him on the box out. I was referring to the guys in the paint. Just looking at Eric Gordon come in there and soar like Eric Gordon's not almost 35.
Look, he's got to reserve his energy for the games that matter. Like he's going
if Eric Gordon can jump down the lane like that at 35, we have a problem. No box out. You got three of the youngest cats in the paint. Unacceptable.
But shout out to Eric Gordon out of Indiana University, I believe.
I mean, but like what? Speaking of what we were talking about, y'all haven't played. Oh no, y'all won by the skin of y'all teeth. Cade Cunningham still almost had a double-double on y'all. 30 and 9. Bam had what, 27 and 8, if I'm correct.
You see his head lift up when you said Bam.
22.
He's like, Cade
22 and
Cunningham,
8.
what are we?
What'd you say?
I see you see his head lift up. He said, "Oh, Bam, wait a minute. He's talking about my guys."
I mean, they had a decent showing. Bam had 22 and 8. Jimmy had 19 and 13. 13 is in rebounds. Kevin Love had 13 and 10. And then Tyler wannabe hero had 16. So 7 for 24 though, which is egregious, but we'll let that live. We'll just chalk that up to the first game back from injury. But like I said, it's just so much. And then what? I'm not happy with Jaden Ivey's performance. He only had 4 points coming off the bench, 17 minutes. That's just. And then you had up on the top, you had Cade Cunningham at 30 and 9. Jalen Duran, which is probably one of the better rookie big men, or should I say 2-year big men who've been in the league, 17 and 14. Isaiah Stewart, 14 and 14. And Isaiah Stewart, 6'8", playing the center. Like, you got to give him that respect. And then you had Ashur Thompson, who played 27 minutes, but only finished with 4. That was one of the Ashur went. I want to say 5, if I'm correct. He was the 5th pick, and then or was his brother the 5th? Correct me.
You might be right. You might be right there.
But I just want to point out something.
Sure went 5th.
I just want to point out some facts real quick.
Go ahead.
Regardless of the stat line, Miami won their first game, something the Knicks didn't do, something the Lakers didn't do, and we defended our home court, again, something the Knicks buddy over there didn't do. Bing bong.
All right, so let's break down the Knicks then. Hold on. Let's go ahead.
The Knicks played against the Celtics, and to be fair, we didn't expect the Knicks to even put up much of a fight against the Celtics. The Knicks did have the lead.
Don't use that.
No. I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm saying the Knicks played a lot better of a game than what was expected, given what the Boston Celtics were supposed to do. I mean, throughout the game, they did have the lead. At least last time I, was able to watch the game before I had to step out for things to be taken care of. However, Celtics were up like 12-13 going into halftime, and then in the fourth quarter, the Knicks are up 4 with about 4-6 with 4 minutes left, but the Knicks just couldn't get it done. And Kristaps Porzingis decided to turn to prime Kristaps Porzingis. So that was all she wrote. But I don't think the Knicks are in too bad a shape if they're able to hang out with one of the teams one of the teams that are expected to be finals champions, because the East is loaded this year. For the first time in a long time, the East is loaded. The East is very top heavy. So it's gonna be a lot of good basketball. But I mean, the Knicks they hung around for a little bit. Emmanuel quickly played a good game. Quentin Grimes. We need more out of Julius Randle, obviously, and Jalen Brunson is going to be the guy. But
you
what?
No, RJ Barrett.
I don't really talk about RJ Barrett. He pisses me off until RJ Barrett makes himself relevant to me.
That's crazy. That is nuts. RJ Barrett had more points than your best player.
RJ Barrett also shot 8 for 20. I need him to start shooting 50%. I need to start shooting 50% from the field, man.
I said this last season, and I'm gonna say it again. RJ plays with more heart than their best player, or supposed to be best player.
100%.
Jalen, he does not play with more heart than Jalen Brunson.
No, I'm talking about you're supposed to be best player in Julius Randle.
The best player on the team is Jalen Brunson. I'm telling you.
And that's why I said supposed to be best player, because Julius Randle was supposed to be the best player.
No, he's not. Julius Randle's a piece. He's a rotation player.
But he was supposed to be the guy.
That was before Jalen Brunson got there. Now that Jalen Brunson is there, Jalen Brunson is best player on that team.
No. Even when Jalen Brunson got traded over, Julius Randle was supposed to be the guy. But Brunson is just that much better.
Hey, buddy, we're telling you. Jalen Brunson.
I can agree with you to some extent about that, because yes, the Knicks were still in that frame where they wanted to play through their 4 or their 5. That was still them when they acquired Julius Randle. And then they had Jalen Brunson, who was able to take over the floor in other ways, as well as also contribute to an assist. That's why.
But my whole thing was that when he still got traded, it was still Julius's team when he first got there.
When he first got there, yes, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
First couple games, yes, and then you realize that it's Jalen Brunson who is the guy. But
Yes,
speaking
I
about
don't-
speaking
1,000%.
about
That's why I said he was supposed to be the guy.
I honestly don't think that was realized till the playoffs that it was a Jalen Brunson team, because if it was, I feel like y'all would have done better personally.
I think it was I think it was a little bit before the playoffs because Jalen Brunson was hooping.
Right?
was
No, what I'm
getting straight
saying
to
though, but as the person Julius Randle was, it didn't click for him until the playoffs when he started playing like the role he was in versus the role he
Yeah.
wanted to be in. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And I mean, to be fair, Julius Randle, I think he got an all NBA selection if I'm not tripping.
Last year, you may be correct. I'm not 100% sure. I would say double
think-
check that.
I think Julius Randle got all NBA.
But to
maybe.
disregard RJ right now, and RJ had what? RJ had 24 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 6 for 7 from the free throw line. He was the best free throw shooter you guys had last night. Technically, between him and Quickly had the higher percent because he was 5 for 6. But like you said, field shooting, 8 for 20. 3-point shooting, 2 for 5. Quickly was 7 for 11, 5 for 7. So, and they both had the same amount of points.
Yeah, he was all NBA 13th. My whole thing is with RJ Barrett is that he'll have games like that where he goes for 24, and then he'll have games where he goes like he's just not for like 2 or 4. He's just like he's not consistent enough for me. That's my frustration with him. I'm saying I need more consistency from him. That's why it's just like, all right, like RJ, okay, you had a good game. Now let's string them together. Let's become the RJ Barrett you're supposed to become out of Duke. Because people forget. People were saying that he was going to be better than Zion. I mean, Zion's obviously more definitely a bigger name, a lot more electric. But
they also put like once again, Zion went number 1 and they put him in a situation where they catered to him that way. New York did not cater to RJ Barrett as if he would have went to a team that needed him initially and immediately. That's what he hoped the Knicks was going to be for him. But the Knicks wasn't that team for him. RJ would have went somewhere like, for example, spitballing. If he would have went somewhere like maybe Indiana, maybe in San Antonio, he would have had a better chance of starting and playing in a role. Because, for example, if he would have went to San Antonio, he would have been there before Devin Vassell got there and would have had probably a chance to be Devin Vassell coming off the bench and then moving Vassell down to the 2 and him at the 3. And then putting Keldon Johnson at the 4, which is what they do occasionally, which is wild as hell to me. But it just depends on where he was at. And that goes for a lot of cats, I feel like. In certain cats, you end up in certain situations where if you were on a team that allowed you to be the player that you should be versus being the player that team wants you to become, it's a whole different ballgame.
Agreed, 1,000%. No, you're not incorrect. Because a lot of players, a lot of players that we don't even know, you know what I'm saying, they get put in positions where they can flourish. Like, for example, like Cam Thomas last year, you know what I'm saying? People didn't know about Cam Thomas at all. All of a sudden he gets on the floor. Like, okay, why has he been on the floor this entire time? You know what I'm saying? But these kids got to get opportunities. And so I agree with you there. A lot of players do need the opportunity.
Yeah, I hope he can get out of the Nets, unless the Nets are going to use him that way. Because once again, for a rookie to come in and have 3 back-to-back games of 43-point games, 40 plus games, and not be in your starting lineup currently is crazy to me. Granted, I understand you got Malik Bridges and you got Cameron Johnson, but it's just tight for me. Like, you don't give him any minutes that I feel like he deserves.
I need RJ Barrett to get back to where he was in 21-22, where he averaged 20 points, but we need to take a step forward. We can't.
But it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for the way Jalen Brunson, by the way they're allowing Jalen Brunson to run the team. For sure. Villanova boys. Y'all gonna end up being the Villanova boys. You're gonna end up at least 8 of them cats on your team before the next end of them 2 years. Guaranteed.
And at the end of the day, they still gonna lose to Miami.
Look, we just broke down your score. Like,
it don't matter. This ain't the playoffs. I'm talking playoffs right now. When
We
it
can't
comes
talk
down to the
playoffs.
end
The
of the
season just started. That sounds ludicrous.
year. Well, I'll tell you this: whenever we match up with the Knicks, we gonna beat them.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. But real quick to go over Orlando and Houston. That game was 86 to 116. Pretty much scores, key contributors in that game. Cole Anthony came off the bench, got 20 points. He had played 24 minutes. Jonathan Isaac finally came back, had a good showing, 14 minutes, about 11 points. Markel Fultz, good to see back on the court, averaging about 20 minutes a game. He played 25, 5 for 9, had 10 points. Paulo Banchero played 28, about 12 points. Franz Wagner 19. And then Houston just looked horrible. They didn't really use Amen Thomas in any really way. Jalen Green only had 10 points. Fred VanVleet. The addition of Fred VanVleet to me is still just spooky. Like you could have done so many other things and acquired a proper big man, or in my opinion, I would have got a better big man that Shagun could have learned underneath of. And
Sagoon be hooping though. Sagoon be
he
hooping, man.
do be hooping. He played what? He played 28 minutes that game, had 14 points. He doesn't rebound like you would want him though, in my personal opinion. Like they really didn't have anybody on their team that had over 8 rebounds. He was the highest rebounder on that team. And granted, he's probably and then they have Marjanovic, the big bomb Marjanovic.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy.
But like I said, looking at this roster right now alone, everybody in Orlando played and everybody in Houston played. Granted, that's a scoring thing, guaranteed, but still, it's just like one of those games you would expect that to be a close game between those teams, in my personal opinion. So it's just a breakdown, and then get into another top 5 pick. Talk about Victor real quick. Victor had a 15, 5, and 2 showing. Does anybody else know who had that showing as well? That same exact showing?
Tim Duncan.
I just find, like I said, it's crazy coincidence, but hey,
I mean, that's what they say the script is in, man. The NBA scripted, the NFL scripted. They said the script is in. Greg Popovich got his unicorn, another unicorn. We'll see, man.
I mean, he's good, but honestly, that's all they have. They don't have enough right now to really do much. They need to put more pieces around him. Pop relies so much on Keldon Johnson. And I just honestly, in my opinion, like 32 minutes, 17 points, like he's been average. Now you have Devin Vassell who comes in 23 points, 35 minutes, 9 for 17, 4 for 5 from the 3-point line. Like and then they just actually gave Zach Collins, I think, another 3-year deal, if I'm correct. But
I mean, they weren't in a bad spot. They were only down 4 with a minute left, or something along those lines. I mean, they played well against the Dallas Mavericks team, who arguably could have the MVP this season with Luka Doncic. Kyrie Irving is obviously still Kyrie Irving, but I mean, for what just we're saying, the unicorn himself, 15, same stat line as Tiny Tim. I think they're off to a good start, man. But you're right. Greg needs one more piece. Mr. Popovich needs one more piece to really.
He needs one more. But the thing is, the tragic thing about that is he's not going to get that out of the next 2 draft classes. Next 2 draft classes that are coming in are very par as guard wise. You really don't have a lot that you're looking for. So it's going to be very interesting to see how a lot of these teams play the draft. Like, only thing you can shoot for next year is Rod Dillingham. Is, in my opinion, is probably your best bet. Or Max Buzzle, or Max TB from OTE. I think he's on overtime.
How long is it gonna take for that? The Cooper kid. I'm sorry, is that his name, Cooper?
No, Cooper Flag is only a junior. Cooper Flag
is only a junior in high school. So yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So he was talking about. They were talking about having him reclass and this be his senior year. I don't know if he fully did that yet. But something tells me he's gonna end up at Duke. You know the vibes.
Yeah, they did say Duke. I was listening to another podcast. They were saying he may go to UConn, which would be they were saying it might be a good look for him because obviously with Duke.
From what I was told from some kids on the AAU circuit, they said he really wanted to go to Duke. Duke was his dream school, but they said depending on, he may stay closer to home and show home love. And honestly, That's cool. They said something about him going to the University of Maine, and I was like, that'd be very wild if it's not a D1 school. But I
would be
never
wild.
checked in.
I mean, ball is ball is ball. So
Nah, ball is not ball. I mean, you're not D3, you're not playing, you playing comp.
for sure.
Don't get me
But
wrong. D2 and D3 you're playing comp. And I have family who play in D2 and D3, so I'm not disrespecting that at all. But D1 is a completely different competitive spectrum in certain people's eyes. But there are D2 teams and D3 teams that will compete with D1 teams. Don't get me wrong, 100%.
no, I agree with you on that aspect. What I'm saying is, as far as him skill wise, like, because he's already hooping with he's already basically running the circuit now. So, I
Right.
mean, what's going to be different for him, a couple years later, even though he chooses to go University of Maine. But I guess with the comp that he'd be playing out there, he wouldn't have high level comps. Then he'd be lining up with these guys after they've got a couple years of maturation and growth. So,
Right.
yeah, he's got to go somewhere.
And then so touching back in the NBA, going back over top 5 picks, going over to Atlanta and Charlotte. Charlotte ended up winning this game on Wednesday night, 116 to 110. PJ Washington was the leading scorer for Charlotte with 25 and 5. Brandon Miller came off the bench, 25 minutes, 13 points, 5 for 9, 3 for 7 from the 3-point line. Not a bad showing, an expected showing, you would say. For 25 minutes, I would be okay with the amount of points. Defensively, didn't have any steals. He had a turnover. Personal fouls, he had 3. So not too bad on that end, as far as looking at that. And since we're there, Terry Rozier had 24 as always. Terry comes and does what he has to do. Unlike some other Terrys that we know. And then LaMelo Ball ended up having a double-double per usual, 15 and 10. 31 minutes, not bad. But once again, it's just he's coming back from injury, so I know he's slowly getting pace. But even still, slowly getting pace and still playing 31 minutes, it's not bad. Then on the Hawks side, high score for them was Trae Young with 23. He had majority of his points came from the free throw line. He went 14 to 15 from the free throw line, 1 from 9 from the 3-pointer, which is unlikely from him, and 4 for 19 total.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's unlike him normally. 1 for 9 from the 3-point line is nuts.
That's pack it up.
What you're normally known for. And I don't understand how you hated on this man, Bing Bong. Like Donovan Mitchell had 27, 6, and 4. They won that game by a point. But for the life of correction, he had 27, 6, and 4. 4 steals to be specific, 1 block. Against, and then Max. Ooh, hey, your boy Struss was just trying to get out of Miami. Now he in a calm place in a device-free zone. I guess a palm tree free zone, and he's out there hooping now. 27 points for Struss and 12 rebounds. The boy had a double-double. How do you explain that, Hef?
Good for him.
My thing with Donovan Mitchell, man, he just it's that loss against the Denver Nuggets. It's just frustrating to me. I mean, I know he can hoop. I know game. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain players I just can't get with. Donovan Mitchell's one of those guys. But I do want Darius Garland to excel. I think the Cavaliers, we said it last episode. I think that the Cavaliers are going to take the next step forward. I do want to see them excel. We have to see the Cleveland Cavaliers succeed beyond, LeBron James, which is very difficult to do if you don't get a ring. But Cleveland deserves some excitement. I really enjoyed Darius Garland's game. He's very smooth. He has the capabilities to really be an all-star in this league and really, move mountains. But Donovan Mitchell, man, he just annoyed.
You got to get the ball out of Donovan's hands, though. You got to.
Darius should be the primary ball handler on that team.
He is the one, but you got to understand, Darius Garland's like 6'2", 6'3". Crazy. Donovan Mitchell's like 6'1", 6'2". On floor, like not on paper. Like, yeah, he's Garland's taller than him for sure. But like I said, Garland had what, 15? Garland had 15-5, 5 being assists. But then, like I said, you got to talk about the sleeper of that whole game that deserves more credit and more playing time that he's been getting, which is Mr. Cam Thompson with 36 points. 13 for 21, 2 for 5 from the 3-point line, and 8 for 11 from the free throw line. Oh, and then the
Oh,
touchback.
Cam Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah, your boy Imani did not get any clock this game, which was kind of tragic. Was hoping he was going to maybe touch the floor to some extent, but he did not.
Nah, he
That's
he
all good.
touched
You
the
got
floor. He was on the bench.
no, you gotta give him a little bit of time to mature. He's still young. Not to say he's done anything wrong, but
I mean, looking at majority of these games, a lot of cats didn't touch the floor in these closer games. Only game that really saw a lot of teams touch the floor was the Rockets and Magic game. Was pretty much everybody played, but so far, other than that, it's the only one. Um, Raptors beating the Timberwolves was very surprising to me. I was not expecting that at all. Anthony Edwards played 38 minutes, had 26 points, 14 rebounds as well, leader on that side. And then for Toronto, believe it was technically they have OG Anunoby with 20 points and 6 rebounds, but then coming in with more points than him was Mr. Schroeder with 22 points and 7 assists. So it was, and Pascal honorable mention had what 15 and 7, so not bad, but clearly just one of those situations where it's like tick for tat, tick for tat. Like looking at Carl Towns and Rudy, Carl and Rudy both had a double double. Carl with 19 and 10, Rudy with 15 and 13. So one of them situations is like, well, damn. What exactly?
the keys were in Anthony Edwards' hands. Now, what he's going to do with it, that's what matters here, right? He's got to really be willing and ready to move this team forward. You know, I hate that he's in a position that he's in where he's in Minnesota because there's not really much going on out there. Cat is a great player. Gobert also great defender. But there's not much going on in Minnesota, and so I unless Anthony Edwards really takes the next step where I think he should go, and be like really one of those elite players in the league, because he's a good player, borderline great, but they're gonna need him to be elite at this point, and I think he has capabilities of being elite. Anthony Edwards is one of those guys.
He's just really got to lock in him, and I mean, it's unfortunate that we haven't got to see his full ability because I'm with you on that. I think there's a piece of him that's just missing, and I don't know how he's gonna find it. I don't know where he's gonna find it but he needs to find it. He needs to find it because I do agree with you. There's a piece of his game that's missing.
With the Raptors getting Schroeder, that's big. That is actually really big.
Hopefully that signature deal helps. AE1.
Say it again?
Said hopefully his signature shoe deal helps. The AE1's coming out for Adidas.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
he got a shoe deal?
He just got a signature shoe. He just did a commercial and tried to
oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry. I was thinking about Schroeder. My fault.
Absolutely not.
Anthony Edwards. I'm sorry. No, yeah, my fault. I didn't hear you say that. But yeah, I did see that. But I was
side note. Oh, wait. I thought he didn't have any points.
Who?
Oh, that was at the end of the first half. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about Scoot real quick. Somebody told me Scoot didn't have any first half. He didn't have any points the whole game, but he didn't have any points the first half of the Portland Clippers game. He didn't score until the second half. He finished with 11 and 4. And they ended up losing 123 to 111. And Kawhi Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You said Kawhi finished with what?
Kawhi finished with 23 and 6. Paul George 27 and 6. And what did Russ have? 11 and 13.
Well, there's a picture circulating of Scoot and all, or him smiling, or Russ dunking. I think some people were a little rubbed the wrong way, but in the same breath, it's like, yo, you're on the floor with your idol. It's like when the young boys that grew up watching LeBron, now they're on the floor and they're like, oh wow, or Kobe was on the floor with Mike. So I'm not gonna say passing the torch, but it's just one of the situations like, oh my god, like this is it. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah. And then honorable mention, Bones Highlands had 17, 22 minutes off the bench. So
nice.
Those Wednesday night games were actually not bad. Tuesday, you already know how that went. Denver ended up winning that first game. And who won the second game? Suns won the second game. Yeah. So Yeah, that's just a little breakdown. Everything going down crazy. You got some good games coming up this weekend. The odds look pretty bad on FanDuel, so be careful when you guys do anything. I'd say 25 plus for Devin Vassell for anything he does this week. That seems like if you want to go a rookie route, Devin Vassell 25 plus, Paolo Banchero 15 plus, and then Tyrese Maxey also 25 plus. Those are
Okay,
ones I would say. And then also Derek Lively, I would also say a double-double. Nothing crazy, but just 10 and 10. Because he did well as well in that Maverick game. First performance, he had 16 and 10 going up against Victor. So it wasn't a bad performance. Once again, 2 Ferrell boys. What do you expect?
I'm open.
You expect that. So like I said, until Chet and Victor go up against an Embiid and Porzingis, and you see how that gets broken down, we'll see. Because I feel like
Yeah.
if you put Porzingis up against Victor, it's Porzingis is going to show him strength, not weakness. We don't do weakness. We do muscle.
No, we don't do that. No pain, none of that. Ooh, sold. Missed the layup, my boy.
Talk to him, Hef.
No pain, no game. But man, that's a wrap for this one. Y'all can catch us next time. We right now exclusively on YouTube at Networthy podcast. So you can catch us there for now. Eventually we're gonna be streaming some live games. So stay tuned for that one as well. Until next time, we out of here.